This video is kind of clickbaity, but it does help illustrate some key important things about head shape and male pattern baldness. And these guys are a good example because they've been publicly photographed since they were infants. So you can see how their hair and head shapes have changed over time. The first thing to note is, there we go. The difference in the head shape. Harry has a more vertical and stays kind of more vertical forehead as opposed to William. He's got this bulge here, and then it gradually curves up to the top of his head. That's the mark of someone with severe hair loss. You have this bulging here and then some gradual curvature. Harry's, on the other hand, it doesn't have that gradual curvature. It changes direction right there, and he's got some severe curvature going on up here. That's why he's losing hair. But you can see like there's the shape of your forehead is a determinant of your hairline. Let's see what I got next. Whose forehead is rounder? And it's pretty obvious. Like this is a much rounder forehead than this. And he's got a little bit of a bulge there. He's got an overall smaller forehead, and that helps. That's why this guy's kept his hairline, even though he's severely thinning on top. There's a lot of curvature up here. See, William's he's getting a little bump there, the cone head. It's another mark of the severe hair loss. Start developing a cone head. This part of the head changes shape, and this part of the head changes shape. So in your earlier pictures, you had a much flatter, broader forehead. But you can see there's a lot more curvature in this guy's head than this guy's, and that's why he doesn't have a hairline anymore. Yeah, so see, like his head, William's forehead was a lot broader here. Like the head shape has changed. You can see his temples. Right, this part of his hairline was much further forward. Now it's further back. I don't think it's receded. It's just this area has expanded forward. And that's why it's rounded severely, and that's caused severe hair loss. You see, Harry started off with a much smaller forehead. That helps. Right? Much smaller forehead than this guy. Right, so his forehead is rounded and bulged out a little bit, but it started from a much flatter, smaller space. Right, so the smaller your forehead is, the harder, or like the more difficult it is for male pattern baldness to progress. Right? This guy's much more susceptible than this guy. It's all forehead. Let's see what else I got. Okay, so now he's starting to thin on the temples here. He's got a little bit of a receding hairline. You can see that he still has a flat part of his forehead here. This is relatively flat, but it starts changing direction here at the eyebrows. So that's going to affect the temple region. Harry, he's got like a pimple there or something. But again, he's got a flatter forehead and a much more gradual curvature in the forehead, so he still has the hairline. But yeah, once this thing starts curving severely, you're going to start losing hair here. Change in direction occurs way too soon. As opposed to here, the change in direction occurred way out here. Change in direction occurred here. Not quite. Now it's occurring more like here. So he has this part of his hairline where the forehead's still flat, but then the temples are starting to recede. Change in direction, temples start to recede. It's much more, having that long, big, broad forehead, or not broad, but longer forehead, wider forehead, makes you more susceptible to hair loss. All right, so you see now he's probably 30-ish years old. That flat part of his forehead is now gone. And you see this kind of bulging and rounded. It's just like this just uniform roundness, and that's why he doesn't have a hairline anymore. He doesn't have that flat, or that hairline here. There's no flat part of his forehead left. Rounded out. Once this thing rounds out, it affects your hairline. Harry's is starting to affect him a little bit. It's starting to round out more, but his forehead was smaller to begin with. So it's going to take a longer amount of time for that sucker to round out. Flat or small foreheads help prevent male pattern baldness, at least in the receding hairline area. He still is susceptible in the back. The forehead shape doesn't really affect your crown. There's the expansion there, or the change in shape there is independent or somewhat dependent, but it can be independent of the change there. But yeah, so no more flat part of his forehead. All right, so you see all the same gene pool. I don't really believe in genetics, but this is why I don't really believe in genetics. Like, these are three completely different looking organisms. Like, you wouldn't know that these three are related, right? They're all their unique energy. They're all a unique organism. But anyway, let's see, like, who has the roundest forehead? Who has the roundest forehead? Dad, brother. There, that's the roundest forehead. You see a bulge, a distinct bulge there in his forehead. This guy doesn't have that bulge. That's why he's over 70 years old and he still has a hairline. There's no bulge there. There's no bulge there. Very small, subtle bulge. This guy's got the biggest bulge. And as a result, he has the most severe hair loss at the hairline. Right, this is how it is for everyone. Right. Flat foreheads grow hairlines. Flat foreheads grow hairlines. Once it starts rounding and bulging, your hair goes. It's all head shape. You see them as kids. I don't know what I wanted to say here. It's really hard to make out. But you can just go back and look at them as kids, and you see, like, that's not as bulgy as it was. That's definitely bulging now. Head shape has changed. Like, there's now a bulge here. And see that the hairline, once after that bulge, it gradually rounds out to the top of his head. Here it goes up, and then it rounds out to the top of his head. There's a distinct change in direction there. It's got a distinct change in direction. Forward goes up, change in direction. Forward goes up, change in direction. That shape, for whatever reason, changes over time. It starts bulging and you get the gradual rounding to the top of the head. You don't want gradual rounding. You want sharp contours to your head. Sharp contours. Goes flat and then contours to the side. Flat, contours to the side. Flat, contours to the side. Definitely. See, he's got a flatter forehead. Flat, contours to the side. The more you keep your flat contours, the more you keep your hair. What else do I got? Some more. So you can see that, very flat vertical forehead to start with. That's why the guy hasn't lost a lot of hair in his hairline. He's lost some. He's definitely lost some. It's thinned out. But when you start off with this kind of forehead, you don't bald that fast. And you see his hairline or his forehead is definitely a lot flatter, a lot broader across. Maybe starting to lose it a little bit. But definitely this forehead has changed over time. And this forehead has changed over time too. See, his temple hair is a lot closer to the front of his forehead. But that feature helps you keep your hair in use. What do I got next? Oh, more the same. Flat, now it's starting to curve here at the eyebrow. Flat, starting to round out a little bit. Temple hairline's getting pushed back. But so you see his change in direction. Let's see, it curves a little bit. That's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, see, he's a lot flatter here than he is now. I think the next one, no. So it's a shitty presentation. I'm realizing that now. Yeah, smaller forehead. He's got more flatness here, but yeah, it's starting to curve and he's losing his hairline. What do I have here? So now you can kind of see the change in shape. This is a good shot. Yeah, so flatter, you can see now it's starting to round and bulge. Flatter, more roundy and bulging. So he's losing a little bit of hair here. He doesn't have this ridiculous hairline anymore. He's flatter. Now you can see that bulge. That bulge in his forehead. And definitely you can see it compared to here. He doesn't have that bulge yet. Here you can see there's a roundness. There's a bulging to his forehead that you don't see here. It's still kind of flat. That bulging is what you don't want. That bulging will affect your hairline. It's starting to thin out. It looks different than in this picture. It's hard to tell because it's an older photo. But you can definitely see it in him. rounder. That's definitely a rounder. Oh, yeah. And now it's really round. Very round. He's lost all his sharp contours. Right here he had some contours. Boom. There, contours. There, contours. Here there's no more contour. It's gone. There's no flat part of his forehead left. And you can see that there's a roundness to his forehead that he didn't have as a kid. Where's that photo? See, there's no roundness here. I mean, there's a subtle curvature, but you don't see the same amount of roundness. His skull shape has changed over time. It is becoming rounder and rounder, and that's what causes progressive hair loss. There's not really hair loss or receding hairlines. It's just hair growth patterns relative to a new head shape. Right. Go and look at these guys over time. I mean, these might not have been the best pictures, but you won't find a very round looking forehead in their youth. Right. The roundness is much more severe in their older age. Yeah, that's what's going on. If you're losing hair, your skull shape is changing over time. Look at these guys from their youth to their 40s. This is different than it was. This area is a lot different, and this area is too. But I don't have very good photos of that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry for the clickbait.